Hey everyone, my name is Andy Lecture. I am Andy R. Lecture on Instagram. I am one of the directors of Takata Independent, which is a independent A team in the upstate of South Carolina. You can find them on Instagram at Takata_independent. And today I'm just gonna kind of go over the basics of catching behind my back and showing you a couple of specific tosses that you can use this with. So let's get started. The thing you're gonna wanna do is, well, first we're gonna talk about sort of the position of your hand. Sorry, my hair's a little bit tangled up. So we're gonna talk about the position of your hand on these catches. So your right hand, if I'm facing away from you, if you're standing behind me as if we're in class, your right hand should be on the small of your back, as far over as you can get it. So you wanna kind of think about pushing this elbow over as much as you can without dislodging your shoulder. But you just wanna get it as close as you can to this left hip with the palm away from you. That position is gonna be the starting point from where we talk about all these catches. So, the first thing we're going to work on is taking your flag. You're going to hold it on the tab with your left hand, just like this, and you're just going to drop it from there. You want to keep your left hand sort of in line with where your right hand is, so don't just drop it over here. You want to have your left hand to the left side of your body. Your right hand will be on your hip. Just drop it and just practice catching it in your hand that way. No toss needed. So we're just going to do this a few times so you can sort of get used to that idea of like spotting and the timing and everything. So the key thing is to keep your eye on the tab as long as you can so that you can take your hand to that tab. If you need to, one thing you can do, some people do this when they're learning, is you can turn your hip so that your palm is facing the flag and catch it that way. So if you need to take a step forward with your left foot towards the flag to get that palm there, you can just be aware that that does get your leg closer to that plane around which the flag is rotating. So once you get to actual tosses, if it's spinning, you do run a slight risk of getting your leg hit. So just be careful with that, do with that what you will. So once you've gotten used to just dropping it and catching it, dropping it and catching it, start working on doing that without turning your body, without the step forward. You can sort of just, well, not like that, but you can sort of just get used to that idea of like pushing your hip and your hand forward just a little bit without taking that full-on step. It will be impossible for you to actually catch without turning, but if you can just minimize that motion and that movement as much as you can, then it's going to look that much better and that much more confident. So once you've gotten used to this sort of dropping thing and you're catching it consistently, let's try it with a pop toss, a single pop toss, nice and lofty. So we want to pull down less with our left hand and push up harder with our right hand to get more height and slow that rotation down like that. And you want to actually under-rotate it just a smidge for this behind the back catch. Yeah, so you want to catch it cross like this. Once you're getting the placement of that pretty consistently, catching across, then you can start working on the catching behind your back. Because all that's going to be is the left hand's going to go to the exact same place and the right hand's going to be around your hip, catching it in that tab. So as you can see, if you're catching it across, the left hand doesn't move, neither does the flag. My right hand's gonna go right where it needs to. It's in that perfect position if you're catching it at the right angle. So, try that a few times. You can step into it if you need to again with your left foot, catching typically either on the cheater or the bottom stopper, and the tab with your right hand. Once you're comfortable with the single, you can work up to a double. Start getting some more rotations in there. Just remembering that for this toss, you under-rotate it, right? So, now that you've got that, let's go ahead and give it a whirl on a parallel. I find this to be easier for me, but you just start with a single, nice and easy, catching it. And then again, all you have to do is step forward, right hand on the hip, palm facing out, keep your eye on that tab. So it's gonna go behind you as you step forward. So look over your shoulder, keep your eyes on that tab as long as you can. And that's just gonna help you find that placement of your hand every single time. And that's pretty straightforward as well. So just getting that single and catching. And again, if you want to catch it with the silk in your left hand, just sort of give yourself something else to do with your left hand and just provide that safety net in case you do drop it with your right hand, you can still catch it with your left and get it up there as a recovery like this. So I missed it the first time, but I can get it in my right hand pretty quickly. That's a good way to sort of work your way up to that as well. So once you sort of got those two tosses, we can try it on a few 45s. This is my favorite. I do so many behind the back catches. It's just one of my favorite sort of ways to elevate a trick. Any toss that you can do, if you can catch behind your back, it's going to get you a little bit more wow factor. So just doing sort of your standard Gloria. So if you started with it in cradle, if you know how to do this Gloria where you bring it up and out, I'm going to start facing the other way so you can see the way I catch it. You can start catching that behind the back as well. Again, keeping your eye on the tab. Right hand goes to that tab, and the left hand, if you need to, can catch the silk at the safety net. So here, Gloria, up, out, and catch. So again, I just keep my eye on that tab, and that is exactly where my right hand goes. I'm catching it in the silk. And you can do this with any toss. One of my favorites recently is to start doing it, under a sit roll crank toss. So the crank toss is the one where you vertically release it. So it's not a 45, but it goes to the other side of your body. So you release it right above you, and that forward to back momentum you built keeps it going behind you. And so then you can release it and catch behind your back. So just feel free to add this to any of your tosses. Just add that extra oomph to anything that you do. So it's just the general rules of keeping your eye on the tab, right hand around to that left hip, stepping into it if you need to, and that safety net of catching the silk or the pole with your left hand if you need to. And you can just start to explore it, add it to any of your skills, any of your favorite skills, and yeah, tag me in the video, tag Centronics, show us what you're working on. It's gonna be a lot of fun.